Hi guys, and welcome to Trucking Along with Kearsey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. Last year, the FMCSA formed a Women of Trucking Advisory Board. So it's WOTAB. This is what the website says. WOTAB is charged with reviewing and reporting on policies that provide education, training, mentorship, or outreach to women in the trucking industry and recruit, retain, or advance women into the trucking industry. Okay, that was a really long run-on sentence there. WOTAB will be composed of members whose backgrounds, experience, and certifications allow them to contribute balanced points of view and diverse ideas regarding the coordination of functions of trucking companies, nonprofit organizations, and trucking associations. They will work to support women pursuing careers in trucking, expand scholarship opportunities for women in the trucking industry, and enhance trucking training, mentorship, education, and outreach programs. Which basically, that all says the same thing is, we're going to help women become truckers. Something that I found interesting that they're pushing for is overtime. So some of the advocacy issues the association says could enhance and expand opportunities for women in trucking include training standards, restroom access, truck parking, detention time, Fair Labor Standards Act, overtime exemption, and misclassification. And this is what I think is so sexist, okay? Apparently women need bathrooms, but men don't. No, I'm sorry. We all need to go to the bathroom. We all deserve a clean restroom, so why is this something that it seems like they're trying to give special treatment to women? And I admit it, I've gone to customers that allowed me to use the restroom and they didn't allow the men. That's not right. It's just not right. Focused on barriers to women's entry into the commercial vehicle industry. The barriers are their kids and the attitudes that they have thinking that somebody's going to create a barrier for them to come in. I mean, just the formation of this committee just basically says women aren't treated fairly. We have to do something to allow women to come into trucking. It almost is like women are choosing not to go into trucking, but that's not a good enough, like people know better. If I choose to be a truck driver or I choose to be a school teacher, that's my choice as a woman. So sometimes I feel like, well, women choose not to do these dirty, grimy, masculine jobs. I mean, yeah, it sucks to crawl underneath a trailer when you're all full of grease and it's like a middle of a hurricane and you have to go do a pre-trip and, you can't get the tandas to slide and it's cold out, and even though you didn't, set your brakes, all of a sudden your brakes are frozen, you're taking hammers and whacking the heck out of trailers and stuff, or you're getting up and down in the trailers and it's slippery and it's icy and it's freezing, and you go into Nebraska and there's like wind advisory warning saying that if you're outdoors for 15 minutes and you're not covered up, you're going to get frostbite. Well, what is the organization going to do about that? Because I really think that women have more of a problem with that than they do going on to Indeed or Craigslist or just typing into Google free CDL schooling. I mean, come on. And the fact that you even have to keep promoting to women to let them know, it's like saying, oh, well, they're not educated enough to even go search for it. If they can go online and figure out, what DIY project or how to put makeup on, then they can look into trying to find a job. Sorry. There was one of these that just made me laugh, though, because it's talking about the overtime. Okay. Now, this is according to Freight Waves. Advisors to the FMCSA waiver on support for trucker overtime pay. The Women's Trucking Board opts for reviewing and researching, not removing the federal exemption. So basically, the Fair Labor Standards Act, which is from like the 1930s, right, currently allows carriers to avoid paying overtime wages to drivers. Apparently, overtime has not been an issue for men for 90 years. It's an issue for women now. The Fair Labor Standards Act is a barrier for women to become drivers, making it hard to support their families and earn a fair wage with basic protections, according to the subcommittee's statement. Okay. So it's not hard for men to support their families. It's only hard for women. Give me a break. I'm sorry. The American Trucking Association Legislative Affairs Director, Alexandra Rosen, who also is a WOTAB member, pushed back on the draft statement, contending that there would be a high chance that this would impact wages negatively because many owner-operators are paid by the load and by the mile. The owner-op organization, maybe you guys can explain this. Put it down below and tell me if you think this is a good idea or not, because to try to force overtime pay. Because I don't understand where they think it's going to come from. It says the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association, some of whom are actually company drivers, called it a thinly veiled attempt to boost trial attorneys' fees that would reduce drivers' paychecks and decimate trucking jobs. But the majority of truck drivers in this country are independent contractors. They're not employees. So to enact this legislation, right, it's really not going to help most of the drivers. Okay? You're a bunch of independents. How do you make up for that overtime? I just don't understand. If you guys can figure this out, then write it down below. But there's no way that they're going to be able to say, okay, you did 40 hours this week delivering to, working for these different brokers. Again, working with these different brokers. So what? If you work with certain load boards or you work with certain brokers, then towards the end of the week, those brokers or loads or whatever are supposed to pay you overtime? No. I mean, think about this. No. So again, all this is a waste of time, a waste of money. It's not going to actually do anything. If you look, a lot of these bigger companies, including Prime Inc., our company driver numbers have decimated. They've just plummeted. Something I don't like that's going on and is that, like, we still have a lot of these mini fleet trucks that are empty and they have signs in them. So now drivers complain that they don't want those trucks signed. They want those trucks removed from the premises because they're just taking up parking space that could be used for other drivers. However, at the same time, they turn around and open the leasing program back up so that you can get multiple lease purchase trucks in the same year. So what is the point of getting multiple trucks is to build a mini fleet. So you're encouraging people to spend the money to buy the trucks, but then you don't even have any drivers to place in those trucks. Prime basically doesn't assist, and it's not just Prime, it's the mega carriers in general. They're not assisting people to find company drivers to drive their trucks, but they're still selling multiple trucks. What I do see happening is that if you leave, they're not bringing people back. If you're from states that, like Florida, if you leave and you're from Florida, you're not coming back anytime soon. So really think about leaving. Be very careful with accidents and things like that. So I really think that they're putting emphasis on the wrong things here. Okay. Overtime pay? Sure. Yeah, give it to me. A lot of the company drivers are already unionized. We keep seeing all these Teamsters are they were dealing with Yellow and UPS and different companies. And so They're already union, a lot of them, the local guys. What's the point? I don't get it. It just infuriates me because it just looks like a lack of efficiency, a lack of, design, a lack of understanding about consequences. A lot of times you see laws going into effect that are well-meaning, but then they make bad decisions. They make bad outcomes. They have multiple ripple effects that weren't even considered when they actually did the law to begin with. So tell me down below whether or not you think that any of this is even is it even relevant? How is there a way that it could work? Because everybody's saying, well, we need more money, but everybody feels like they need more money. There's not one person in this country that's going to turn around and say, oh yeah, I make plenty of money for, come on. And I really don't like the fact that they push it as it's a woman thing. Because then again, the women are just wanting special treatment. I don't want special treatment. Well, yeah, I kind of do. I should change that. I kind of do. I like going out on the road and then having a guy help me out or, be nice and give me directions. Or I've had guys jump out of the truck and try helping me back up. And, the customers, they'll put load locks in the back of my trailer when they wouldn't do it for the men. So I like that. I just don't get the whole, I'm a woman, so I couldn't find a CDL school. I'm a woman, so I was too stupid to Google. No. But thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I hope to see you out there. Trucking along. Bye.